Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is Electrifying CT. And even though it's been quite a few years, I've actually wanted to work on videos like this or uploads like this. I simply do not have enough time in my life in order to do so. But I just stood up off of my couch, walked into the other room where I have an ancient Mac computer and my microphone so that I could just maybe record a few thoughts off the top of my head. We had the new Star Wars trilogy. Then we've had Marvel Phase 4. And we've seen She-Hulk. But I just witnessed VELMA, Episode 7. And it's been bad every episode, as everyone who's ever seen it knows. But this is just, it's garbage. It is nothing but absolute garbage. So in episode 6, Velma dresses up as a man, disguises herself as a man. So, because sexism, women aren't allowed to go to the party unless they have a date, which is funny because I remember, decades and decades ago when I attended school, everybody went to the dance if they wanted to go to the dance. If they didn't want to go to the dance, like myself, I stayed home. But no, you don't have to have a fucking date to go to the dance or go to a party just because you're a woman. But then, here's where it gets really bad. The hypocrisy is just absolutely sickening. Hollywood, all of Hollywood, all of it, just burn it to the ground. Just burn it to the ground. It's nothing but a shit show. So, obviously, I'm not going to make this long because I just wanted to record my thoughts and just upload them. But, so Velma, in the very short time that she's dressed up like a man, she comes to this conclusion it's so wonderful being a man. Everything is so easy being a man. And then, she enters the party because she's under investigation. How these quote-unquote comedies of the modern age, they literally just want to slap you in the face with what they're trying to say. So she's trying to get in the gate, and she's like, I'm not a woman dressed up as a man, if that's what you're thinking. Or if I was a woman dressed up as a man, and yada, 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 yada. And it's okay, it's just, okay, first of all, that's not funny. It's just fucking annoying, and I think it's stupid. Absolutely irritating. So then she just slaps the police officer in the nuts, and he goes, yeah, you must be a man, because only men would, enjoy slapping another man's nuts. And let me tell you, from a man's standpoint, here's the problem. Here's one of the problems with all of this. It's written by a woman. The show is written by a woman. It is produced by women. And let's say this woman, back when she was in high school, saw a couple of jocks on the football team slapping each other in the nuts and laughing about it or something. And then her simplistic, stupid, 2-ounce brain is that must be how men act every day, every moment of their entire life. I'm fucking retarded. And so, as I was saying, for me, from my standpoint as a man, never once have I ever touched a man's nuts, slapped a man's nuts, or thought it was funny or appropriate to do that to one another. It's Okay, so there's that. But then in this short time that she's dressed up as a man, she's going on and on about how life is so great and so wonderful and so easy if you're a man. But throughout, like since episode one, Fred's a man. He is a male character. Hasn't his life been portrayed as nothing but absolute shit? Don't people treat him like shit through the entire show? He's a man. What about the school counselor who's married to Norval's mother? He gets treated like shit and everybody makes fun of him. He's a man. His life doesn't seem all that great. You know, he's a man. So it doesn't make any sense. But that's like me as a man. Let's say I want to write a character, or I'm writing a story or something, and I'm just like, gee, it must be so great being a woman. I get to go home from work once a month because of my period. Oh, that's so great. I would love that. That must be so fucking wonderful. You know, or be like, oh, I get 2 weeks, or I get however long I want on maternity leave because I gave birth to a child. That must be so great. You know, and then like, you know, normal, smart, intelligent women would be like, well, no, that's nature. That's natural. We gave birth. We need to recover. We have the right to be with our newborn child, blah, 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 blah. And I'd be like, yeah, exactly. Exactly. So in Hollywood and all this shit, where do they get off being like, I'm a woman, but I know exactly what it's like being a man. You know, and I just get to rant on and on and on what it's like, how great it is to be a man. It must be so great to be a man. And it's just bullshit. It's nothing but absolute bullshit. And I'm sick. It's out of control. It is absolutely ridiculous. Why can't we just come to the conclusion that biologically, emotionally, mentally, men and women are both different entities, and the brilliance of those differences even each other out? It's very important. It's sacred. It's what do you say? A sacred compatibility? You know, it's just as simple as that. But then just to sum this all up, sum this little rant up about this episode, when it comes to the conclusion after. And sometimes when they do this, when they write stuff like this, I don't even know if they realize how they can't even make they can't even make the point that they wish that they could make or that they want to make without making themselves prove themselves wrong. Because when it comes to the end of this episode, it sums up after the short time that she parades around being like, oh, it's so great being a man. Life must be so wonderful being a man. It comes down to it that Velma sucks at being a woman. She's a shitty woman, and she's fucking terrible at being a fucking woman. And she even apologizes to Daphne, and she admits this, and she says that she was a bad friend. But the way that I see it, she's terrible at being a fucking woman. Oh yeah. I forgot about a comment that was made when she's getting ready to dress up as a man. She makes a comment about how much makeup she has to put on to be accepted for a date. How much makeup she has to take on her face. You know, Velma, I'm sorry. And Mindy, is that her name? I'm sorry if this is a reflection of your own life and your own personal dilemma. But take my wife, for instance. My wife is so naturally beautiful that she doesn't need to wear makeup. In fact, on the rare occasions that she does wear makeup, I find it to be strange. Because I fell for my wife when she wasn't wearing makeup. I found my wife beautiful when she isn't wearing makeup. And that's just how it is. So if you think in order to get a date, you have to cake makeup on your face like that, it's one of three things. First being, that's just the way that you perceive reality, or you think that it has to be, or you think it needs to be. Second possibility, your attitude stinks so bad, your arrogance, self-centeredness is so bold, and your bickering negativity is like an aura around you that when you get a negative response from men you might be interested in, you perceive it as, oh, I need more makeup. How dare he not want to be around this? Or 3, you're just fucking ugly. But anyway, that's enough of this rant. Like I said, I would do an actual in-depth video and more videos like this if I had the time in my life. But no, I just had to rant and get this off my chest. And of course, I know YouTube will have me kicked off sooner than later because I dropped too many F-bombs for them. But you know, the YouTube, they're in the same party as Hollywood and, you know, everything else that goes around these days. But all right, I guess I'm going to go watch episode 8, fall asleep, and then be up at the crack of dawn, get back to work.